We've had some quite big stars on the island this week. The actor James Nesbitt has been holidaying in Playa Blanca, and he's been seen around a lot of the local bars and restaurants down there and allowing people to take selfies with him, which is very nice. And we also had Harry Kane's mother, the England football captain's mother, on the island with her mother and some of the grandkids, and they met up with my friend Ian Lane and bought some UD Lanzarote shirts and went to the UD Lanzarote game last Sunday. We had news this week that access controls are being put into Montaña El Cuervo and Caldera Blanca. Now, El Cuervo is the volcano you can kind of walk into in the area of La Heria, and there have been some real issues there lately. The car park has been overflowing, so people have been parking on the road. People have been going off the path. Someone was running down the Pecan on the hill there, and there was even a picture, a bit of video actually posted this week of a car driving down the walkway. So the Cabildo have decided that they're going to put access controls in at both of those places. So there will be staff on hand to turn people away when the car park is full and to make sure that everybody there behaves themselves and sticks to the paths and sort of respects the area of Lanzarote. It's a bit of a shame, really. I think it's kind of sad that it's come to this, but the upside is that 12 people who are currently unemployed are going to get jobs looking after the access control at those two places. Boy, have we had some weather this week. Last weekend and the early part of the week we had really strong winds, possibly the strongest I can remember since Tropical Storm Delta way back in 2005. It was really quite uncomfortable driving, and there were gusts of well over 80 kilometres an hour. They caused some issues. Part of the facade at IKEA, or IKEA as we call it here, in Arrecife was pulled away. The top of Monumento Campesino, the peasants' monument in the centre of the island, was damaged and had to be removed by firemen. There was quite a lot of coastal damage in Playa Honda and other parts of the island where big waves were just bashing against the shore. And then we went into Colima, and yesterday and the day before we had really hot weather, 34 degrees, lots and lots of dust in the air. The good news now is it's all settled down. As you can hear, the wind has gone, and over the other side of the camera there, I'm looking up at a perfect blue sky with no Colima. It's been quite well publicised that the golden visa is ending. Now, this was the visa whereby anyone from outside the European Union who doesn't have a right to live and work here could buy a property in Spain to the value of at least 500,000 euros, and in return they would get automatic residency of Spain. The idea behind it was possibly a sound one. It was thought that people with a bit of money to invest would buy a nice expensive home to live in with their families, perhaps run a business over here or whatever. Sadly, the reality is that it attracted speculators. So a lot of people, instead of buying a home, were buying, let's say, 100,000 euro apartments, putting them on Airbnb and sticking the residency in their back pocket to keep it for the future, to give them access to the Schengen area and the European Union. It hasn't really worked as it intended, in the same way as happened in Ireland and Portugal, and they too are ending their golden visa. So if you are someone who's been looking to buy on a golden visa to move to the island, you need to do it sooner rather than later, I would suggest. Now, Jet2 Holidays became UK's largest tour operator in what feels like no time at all. They sold themselves on their friendliness, and they had some unique selling points, one of which was called in-resort check-in, which I always thought was an absolutely brilliant idea. So if you were staying in some of their hotels, on the last day of your holiday you could check your suitcases in, someone else would pick them up, you would get your transfer to the airport and literally just walk straight into security, and your bags would be taken through by somebody else and put on the aircraft. Because of that, they had a relatively high staff level in islands where they do a lot of business, like Lanzarote, and they've now decided to cancel that in-resort check-in. The downside of that for 92 people who work here is that they're going to be made redundant, which is kind of sad. I think one of the issues Jet2 have been facing over the last year or two is that Jet Holidays are now eating into their market share because their pricing is significantly lower for basically the same holiday. But they're a very different operation at Jet Holidays. They simply use a bed bank to make a booking for you at a hotel and then package it in with one of their flights. Now, that means they don't have any staff on hand on the island. They literally just book your hotel and they book your flight and you arrive, which is okay for most people, but if you need any help or support, they don't have that. But because of that, their overhead is much lower than Jet2's, and I suspect this is the reason why Jet2 are stopping in-resort check-in and trying to reduce their in-resort costs at the moment. The upside for those 92 Jet2 people who are going to be made redundant is that unemployment is down to the lowest level here since 2007. The island ended March with unemployment down in all 7 municipalities, and particularly so in Arrecife. So that's some good news that there are probably quite a lot of job opportunities here at the moment. Now, just a little reminder that we'd be massively grateful if you would subscribe to our channel below. We are, as I've mentioned in previous videos, looking to grow it so that it becomes as successful as the Lanzarote Information website, which is read by about 3 million people a year. So please subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment and or a like. And remember that I read all of the comments. So if you've got any burning questions that we haven't covered and you would like me to do so, put it down in a comment and I'll either reply there or I'll do a specific video for you. We have a new Via Ciclista coming on the island. Now, this network is growing. In case you don't know, a Via Ciclista is a road where the speed limit is 50 kilometers an hour and priority is given to cyclists. So you must keep your speed down and pass cyclists with 1.5 meters gap on the side of them when you overtake them. The new one is the La Olla road, which is, we all call it the old donkey track because apparently donkeys used to go up and down there. And it's the road that runs from the back of Puerto del Carmen by the private hospital, Hospiten, all the way up to Tias. And that road's going to be resurfaced and it's going to become part of the Vias Ciclistas here. Now, it's been big news on the island and actually off the island all around the world about the protest marches which are taking place here in all of the Canary Islands on the 20th of April. What was interesting this week is that Fundación César Manrique, the FCM, which is the organisation charged with maintaining his legacy, have come out in support of the protests. So the FCM are lending their support to these protests taking place on the 20th of April. Now, it's really important that you understand that this is being framed by a lot of the press around the world as an anti-tourism protest, and it isn't. And in fact, the byline of the protest is that the Canaries have a limit. So it's not about getting rid of tourism, it's about having some controls and a plan put in place to keep tourism at sensible levels across the island. And we face that particularly here in Lanzarote, where we've grown to 3.2 million visitors from 2.6 back in 2016, 2017. And it's that additional growth that's been too much for the island in a lot of people's opinions and has put massive pressure on the infrastructure of this island. So it's not about anti-tourism, it's not about asking tourists to go home, it's about creating a sensible plan going forward for limiting the numbers, reducing them slightly from their 2023 level, but also for building the infrastructure around the island, which includes affordable housing, larger healthcare centres, perhaps another hospital and stuff like that, to support all the people who are here employed, living and working and looking after the tourists that we've got. Now, in case you haven't seen it, I had a bit of a video rant earlier this week talking about the way the British tabloids in particular have been talking about this whole 20th of April protest action. And if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link above this so you can click through to that whenever you want to. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe so you catch this every Saturday morning when we make it live. And we promise to keep you up to date with all the news and important information from your favourite island and my favourite island. Bye for now.